What's poppin', everybody? I'm Mike,
I'm Brian.
and this is Hoopin' with Mike and Brian. Oh my lord, we back, baby. We are back, Brian. I know it's been a long time waiting. I know everybody's been waiting. Oh my gosh, there's been a lot of little technical difficulties, little going home, back and forth. Finals ended, school has ended for Brian and I. And we are here on Discord. Shout out to Discord.
Shout out to Discord, man.
We're recording. We're still bringing out content and everything. But it's good to be back here, man. It's good to be back on the episode. It's good to be back on Hoopin' with Mike and Brian. Oh, I missed this, Brian. I missed this.
Yeah, man. It's been too long. I mean, I had as you know, we'll get into it later, but I've been a little upset with how the season ended. But the NBA's been great. It's been too long, Mike. I know we've both been having a lot of stuff going on, but it's great being back, and we got a huge summer ahead of us, man. It's gonna be great, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Man, it's definitely gonna be great, man. I can't wait. Oh my lord, I'm so excited. Like, I know I shouldn't throw it in your face. I'm obviously in good in good moods right now. Obviously,
Yeah, you're living life.
Living life. But you're back home, my guy. Back in the
201, baby.
Back in the 201, man. I'm still in Morgantown. I live here with me and my boy Jigsaw. So working. Shout out to my boy Jigsaw. He's right now. I'm looking at him. He's actually literally sticking his hand in his bowl for no reason. I don't understand, man. These cats are an interesting breed.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats, bro. So
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately. But oh my gosh, let's get into this, man. But first, hey, shout out to Schultz.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad. I actually forgot. Thanks for reminding me. But as you know, we're out on all platforms. Episode 19 just officially dropped. Sorry for the delay, but we're out on all platforms at Hoopin' with Mike and Brian. We're on YouTube at Hoopin' with Mike and Brian. We're also on Instagram and TikTok with the same handle at hoopin.mb. And then we're also on Twitter at hoopin_mb. And as you know, reach out to us anywhere, any social media. Feel free to reach out to us, give us input, anything you want us to do in the future. And we're all ears, and we appreciate all the love and support we've got so far.
Yes, all love and support, and keep that support is big, y'all. We love it. I know we've been trying to put out content. Like, now that we have Discord and we're breaking it down. I wish y'all could see this. Maybe we could do a behind the scenes type content and show y'all what we're trying to do here. But we got everything ready. We're in here, and we just want to make more and better content. I've been telling people to tune in, meeting new people every other day, telling them, hey, come. If you like basketball, you want to learn about basketball, you want to know more, man, come listen to Hoopin' with Mike and Brian, because I feel like we give a really good analysis. We give really good thoughts in the game. You and I are very, well balanced.
Yes, sir.
And agreeing and everything. But yeah, no, I love it. Just to even bring it, before we get into everything, I just want to bring it to a little, something close. But man, I enjoy this, man. This is I'm happy that we're back into this. I'm happy that we're going to keep going into the summer, because this is our pride and joy right now, bro. This is our pride and joy. I love this coming on here. It makes me feel happy. It helps me feel better and everything with the way life works nowadays, unfortunately. But I love it, man. This makes me happy, and let's get right into it, man. We are in the conference finals, everybody. We're gonna talk about it, but that's how far we on the playoffs. So it's been that fast. The playoffs have been so fast. It's crazy. The playoffs have been so fast, so good. But we are now in the conference finals on both sides. This is crazy. We do have a lot to talk about today, but we will get to the conference finals. Today we're going to talk about several things, though. We talk about the coach firings. Pretty interesting amongst, the league. We're obviously going to recap the Heat and Knicks finals predictions. We're also going to react to the game ones that we have seen from last night and the night before of the conference finals. And draft lottery. Wembanyama to the Spurs?
Hey,
was he handed it? Was he handed this to the Spurs?
It's too good to be true, man.
Too good to be true. But let's get into it. Let's do this in order, man. Let's You know what? Let's get a little bit of the good and the bad out the way. Let's recap these Heat versus Knicks, man. I know this was a little bit of a tough time, but also it was a good. I feel like the series was good.
Yeah.
It probably didn't go as long as maybe you thought it did. Maybe I kind of like logically, I was like, I really think this is gonna go Game 7.
Yeah.
You know, like it's gonna push. I feel like the Knicks are gonna fight back hard, but obviously, I'm proud of the results that happen. Um, but I mean, Brian, if you mind me, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
first
go for it, man.
because this is I want to hear what you guys say about your Knicks and go. I'm gonna go about my Heat because unfortunately, yes, we're still in it and we're still going. I hope we can make it as far as a chip, but obviously statistics are very against us right now. Like they just raised our 3% chance against the Celtics to 5%, so
Wow.
that gives us some hope, I guess. But Heat versus Knicks, man. Wow, that was it was a great matchup. I felt, I feel like ever since, really, um, after the Hawks series or after the Hawks game in the play-in, man, I feel like we've been very disadvantaged with guys that could score, obviously. And going up against the Knicks, you guys had multiple guys that could really give you a 20 piece, maybe a 30 piece at times. Obviously, you have your two big dogs and Julius Randle at the time and Jalen Brunson going into that series. And Jalen Brunson, man, I do have to give him, that dude is an absolute dog. I love that man so much.
Appreciate that.
I've given that guy praise ever since I went to Madison Square Garden during Thanksgiving and saw him play because he is an immaculate ball player and he can hoop, man. I know it's a little bit rough to see that when he's like going off and everyone else is not even like doing the right thing and everyone's not doing their jobs. Everyone's missing shots. Like I know the huge thing was like on the Knicks side was like Julius Randle and them like not really doing a lot and like forcing a lot of shots, but I felt like I did really feel like Brunson really held that team together and really kept them in games a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Kept them in the game. So I'll give that. I don't want to go too much on the Knicks, but I want to give that praise to
I
Jalen
appreciate that,
Brunson.
man.
I also want to give praise to my guy Mitchell Robinson. Or not even Mitchell Robinson. Not a little bit, but Isaiah Hartenstein, I kind of liked him. I know a little bit. We kind of talked about you kind of didn't like him, but I kind of liked his hustle, and he gave you guys some offensive rebounds. I think game 4 and 5 that I hated so much because I was just like, why are we not grabbing these rebounds? What are we doing? And Hartenstein was just getting rebounds for you guys, giving you guys extra shots and stuff. So I want to give praise to him. Praise. Obi Toppin did pretty well for whatever. For how many minutes he played, he gave his minutes in. I'm just giving praise to players that deserve it, man. Because that Knicks team, you guys. I know you guys have a bright future with Jalen Brunson and like some of that young core you guys have still there intact. We don't know what's going to happen with y'all's future, but I like it. I've always loved the Knicks. Knicks have always been a little bit close to the heart because I mean, back in the '90s, we're always playing you guys, so that's how it goes. But really for us, man, I think for the Heat, we've stuck with the same game plan since really since the Hawks game, really, and that was more. We're gonna let your guys, your best guys, we're gonna put pressure on them, but we're gonna let them take as many shots as they need because with the way our defense is, we just like I know we talked about this before the pod, but we talked about how like on the offensive side the Heat move the ball around. On defense, that's where it starts for us. Defense is where it starts for us. That's our offense. Our defense is our offense. Like that's where it starts. And we rotate everything. We put the right type of bodies. I love the effort that we're giving. Like a lot of this. This is why like stats and all that stuff. Like we're putting up good numbers. Like guys are shooting because Duncan Robinson is is having good series. Max Strus is having good series. I mean, even last night against Celtics, he had 15 points. Pretty nice. You know, I like how Duncan Robinson and Max Strus are playing good because them both together are filling the role of Tyler Hero, which I love. And they're stepping up, and I like that. But here we go with the two main things that I know is going to keep driving us and keep like going for us is obviously Jimmy and Bam. Jimmy and Bam are our vocal points, and when they're off the floor, who do you think is our vocal point? Because I already know the
When
guy,
you're
and I want to give
Aslam?
when those two guys are off the court.
Oh, you're saying like? Are you saying like a someone who's like on the court? You're saying like when they're off?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
when Jimmy and Bam are off the
Uh,
court, who?
in the playoffs, I feel like
I
it
mean,
was
we were just
Lowry.
talking about this.
Yeah.
Lowry. Man, my man Lowry, man. I saw the stat. I even gave you the stat. It is crazy because I like Lowry, and I think there was spurts of him like early in the playoffs when he started. He was doing good and he had good games, but it's always about trying to find your tempo. And with him, he's older and he's a vet. He knows he can find his tempo, but I know he can also wait for his time to come. And I do love the role of him coming off the bench, man. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We're the stat that I was talking about. We are 22-22 when Kyle Lowry starts,
Wow.
but we're 16-6 when he doesn't start and he comes off the bench.
Wow.
And it's crazy because he's averaging, I think, around 14, 15 off the bench, and that's solid, especially for him who's a vet. He's been in this position before. He has a ring. Um, he's been the second, third guy on a team. I mean, when he was up on the Raptors, I mean, after maybe Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam, you had what, maybe Kyle Lowry. I mean, even with Pascal Siakam at that time, Kyle Lowry was still the second guy behind Kawhi Leonard.
Mhm.
Even when DeMar DeRozan was on the team, Kyle Lowry was that second guy. So I like it. I like the way my Heat have been playing against. I mean, especially against in the Knicks series. It was just a lot of defense. We made your volume shooters shoot a lot. We made your two volume shooters, your guys' little tonight, shoot a lot. And I'm talking about Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. We made them shoot a lot, especially with Julius Randle. We made that dude shoot whatever he wanted to shoot. We played defense, but we made him shoot so many times. And I know that's something that probably irked you so bad, Brian.
Yeah.
But that's our defense right now because our defense right now is, you know what? We know guys like Giannis are going to go off. We know guys like Jason Tatum are going to go off. We know guys like Jalen Brunson are going to go off. But how much are y'all going to go off on us? Like, how much are you willing to go off? Are you going to shoot 28 shots? Are you going to shoot 25 shots? Because you know what? We're fine with that. We'll live with that. Because another thing is, I mean, because that going into the Knicks series, that's what I was afraid. You guys had more shooters, is what it seemed like. More guys that could shoot the shot, open shots, and everything. But I mean, we were leaving guys open, just letting them shoot, just being like, okay, just shoot the ball, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. And I mean, we did good. I mean, our offense was great. I felt like Bam was being more of a facilitator and a playmaker. He was more like a playmaker, facilitator, and a defender when what is what he's doing. And I love that because Bam is probably one of the most versatile big men in the league right now because he's undersized, but he's only 6'9", maybe barely reaching 6'10", but he's so versatile, so just everything. And in that Knicks series, man, he did a great job on Julius Randle. I loved that. He did a great job on Julius Randle guarding him. But on the offensive end, he's setting up like he's Nikolai Jokic, setting up on that high post, top of the key, setting people up. And it's amazing. Him and Jimmy Butler are a great duo. I wish they could add a little bit more 3-point prowess to their game because that pick and roll would be deadly if they had like a 3-point with it. Like if Jimmy Butler was more consistent with like taking pull up shots and stuff like that, like a Steph Curry. Oh, like that pick and roll would be it'd be amazing. But it still works. Jimmy still gets in the paint. Jimmy's still doing Jimmy things. It's still averaging about 32, 31 points per game. having man like especially in the Knicks series. I mean, that was one thing that scared me was when he went down and the ankle. And it's funny because I knew he was going to try to play, but that scared me even more because it was like if he plays and gets injured worse, I don't know how we win the
Yeah.
series. I don't know how we keep going because Jimmy Man's been our anchor, and he's still doing it. He did good against the Knicks. I mean, he was obviously hurt, and he kind of obviously kind of took a little bit of a step back from there to not hurt himself even more. But we still got our Jimmy. Gabe Vincent stepped up huge. Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent stepped up huge in that series. I remember the one game where Caleb Martin had 20. I think he had like 18, 20, and then Gabe Vincent had like 24.
Really?
And we won that game. It was, or was it? Which game? I think it was the game. Either we were. I think it was game.
Which one? What
Four.
happened?
No, because you guys won game. One where Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin were going absolutely like they were going off. Like them two were just. I think it was in New York.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna
they were in the
lie,
Garden.
that felt like it happened every game. I'm serious. Like every game, like every time Max Strus and Gabe Vincent got an open look, I just not turned off the TV, but I looked away because I'm like, this is going in because the Heat ball movement is just so lethal, and when your best player is as unselfish as Jimmy, players just feed off of that, and then you get open looks. Like K Love hit a bunch of open shots. Martin was hitting all these shots. Like, it was hard to watch as a Knicks fan. But I'll let you finish up what you're saying, though, Mike. I just wanted to chime in and say that.
No, no, yeah, I appreciate that. But here's the thing. I'll finish this off here because I mean, I don't want to say it like that, Brian, against you, but like we're still in. We still got our game plan. Is still our game plan. Our game plan never changed. I mean, obviously, you don't change your game plan for anybody. You know, I will say this. I'm going to say two things. I want to give credit to obviously, I want to give credit to Pat Riley and our general manager. Well, obviously, that's Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison and everything. I know a lot of people talked about us not making moves and everything, but I feel like we have a good organization where we get good undrafted guys that just step up in roles that people don't expect, and I love that. Gabe Vincent, I know Duncan Robinson. Even Max Strus, like guys like that, Caleb Martin. I want to give credit because obviously I was one of those harsh people that was like, why aren't we making any moves during the free agency? Why aren't we picking up guys? Like we keep bringing up these guys from like the G League and stuff like that, and I want that. I want guys to come from the G League and make a name for themselves, like Jamal Cain, Haywood Highsmith, and I was down in that first, but I'm biting my own tongue, man.
Yeah.
These guys are coming and stepping up at the best time. At the best time. It's not even like a time maybe during the regular season where I was like, all right, show your stuff so that you deserve to be on this team. No, they're doing it now, and it's like, okay, wow, you're all right. You're on this team. You're on this team because they're making a name for themselves. People don't know who Caleb Martin is. People didn't know who Gabe Vincent was. Now they know who they are in the playoffs, and I like it. And another thing is, I'm gonna say this with my chest up high and everything. I know there's a guy over there in the West in Denver who's a good coach, but I will say this: right now in the playoffs, Eric Spoelstra is the best game-to-game, series-to-series coach.
That's fair.
With adjustments. He is the best. He is the best, and I hate that no one talks about that. And it's been getting talked about recently because of our success, and that's fair. But Eric Spoelstra is the best coach for adjustments from series to series to game, and it's the best because it meshes well with our team. And I feel like this is almost like a I'm almost advertising for our team right now.
How does he not have a
But
coach of the year though? Like I thought that was crazy.
I'm
I'm surprised he didn't get it like a year with like
he also
LeBron.
got coach of the
What?
year. Well, I thought no, he didn't.
He
No, he
never
never
got
did.
it,
Yeah,
which is crazy. Maybe they didn't want to give it to him the years with LeBron and D Wade just because their team was like so stacked.
But you see what I mean? That's it's just it's almost like
No, it is
slander. It's like
crazy.
I don't get it.
I've told you, Mike. Like I think Spoelstra's outside of Popovich. I think he's the best coach in the league.
I
Yeah. No,
appreciate
I
that.
actually mean
I
that. Yeah.
appreciate it. Like, I kind of agree too because it's just like, dude, like we've had almost the same narrative for the last 3-4 years and have defeated that narrative in the last 3-4 years. We've been in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, the last 3-4 years with a guy named Jimmy Butler that people don't even think is a superstar.
Yeah. Exactly.
How does that happen? How does that guy, how does Jimmy Butler not get his recognition to be a superstar, and how does Eric Spoelstra not get his recognition of being a great
Yeah.
coach? One of the greatest. I would argue top
Yeah.
15 all time, top 10 all time. I would
Mhm.
argue. Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but
Makes no sense.
it's fine. This is where we thrive. We thrive on this stuff. We thrive on people talking trash. We thrive on us saying the craziest things. Because you know what? You know what Jimmy Butler said at the beginning of the season, all the way at the beginning where we started, not even that great. You know what he said? We're winning a
He did
championship
say
this
that.
year. We're trying to win a championship this
Mhm.
year. So, and I believe anything that man says. I'll take Jimmy's word for anything. That man is he's the best. I don't even know what to say, man. He's won my heart even more. Jimmy Butler's always been my guy, even when he was at Marquette. Obviously, I'm a big Dwayne Wade fan. Obviously, love my boy the Flash. Like even Dwayne Wade talks so much high praise of Jimmy Butler. I think a lot of players talk so much high praise of Jimmy Butler, and I don't know what to say, man. When the playoffs come, I think it's playoff Jimmy. It's Jimmy playoffs. It's Himmy Butler. It's Jimmy buckets. It's Jimmy MF Butler. You know,
Yeah.
it, and I love it. I love it because I think right now, also as well as also having the best coach right now, I think we also have the best playoff player right now. I'd argue.
Yeah.
I'd argue. I'd argue. I'd argue with it. I know there's a guy in
Yeah.
Denver who's doing things that is whoa, 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 whoa. And we'll get into
Yeah.
that, but I'd argue best player right now because he's doing it
Mhm.
on both ends. He's doing it on both ends, and I said it last episode. I think Jimmy Butler right now claims to be the best two-way
Yeah.
player. I know people are giving that to Kawhi and
But Jimmy
everything,
plays.
but Jimmy plays, and if we show the stats from the last 3-4 years in the playoffs, and when matters, when people care, when actually people like care and matter like that, Jimmy Butler has probably the same stats as Kawhi or even better. So I'm gonna end my heat praise there. We still have
Yes,
unfinished
sir.
business with the Celtics and whoever we play in the finals,
Yeah.
hopefully. But right now, our business is on the Celtics, and yeah, other than that, I think two craziest takes you could take me talking is Jimmy Butler is the best two-way player in the NBA right now, or in the playoffs right now. I'll say that, and Eric Spoelstra is the
Yeah.
best coach. That's all I gotta
No,
say.
I think you bring up great points, Mike, and I definitely I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, I guess the only other player you can mention is Jokic for the best player in the playoffs. But if we're talking about just playoffs wise,
Mm-hmm.
especially the last couple of years, obviously Jimmy gets that nod. But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
Mike, you hit on it a little bit, but the Knicks going into the season, they were honestly projected to be like a fringe playoff team, like outside looking in, maybe a 7-8 seed, maybe get fall to a 9-10. And they were the 5 seed. They won a playoff
mm-hmm.
series. They were 2 wins away from going to the conference finals and playing Boston. What the frustrating part is our best player, or not our best player, but technically third team All NBA, Julius Randle, technically a top 15 player in the league by that standards, was awful in the playoffs. Was horrendous in the playoffs. The Knicks played what 12 games maybe, not 12, 10, 11 games in the playoffs. He maybe played well in 1 or 2 of them. And I know he's come back from the injury, but it's playoff time. If you're hurt, then just don't play. If you're going to be holding the team back. And it was frustrating because all he wanted to do was stay on the perimeter and shoot threes. But he's much better at going to the rim, creating contact. And there was a bunch of times where he took a bad shot or
What
yeah.
what was
No,
with
you're
that?
good.
If you mind, sorry to interrupt you. What was with that? I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want to say it like that, but y'all
No, that's
settled
the
for
thing.
so many threes, and I
We're
did
not a
not
we're not a
understand.
three-point shooting team, and we have guys who can shoot the three. We have Brunson, we have Grimes, except when he airballs a three with the game on the line. We have I mean Josh Hart can't really shoot, but he hit a couple clutch threes. I remember it was in game 2 he had a clutch three, but Randall thinks Randall's
Mm,
like Steph Curry sometimes, and I'm gonna say it now. I said it to you before we got on. I think we're going to move on. I think as a Nick fan base, as a Nick organization, moving on from Julius Randle was best for this franchise.
Mm.
They were 2 wins away from the conference finals with theoretically their best player in quotations, second best player was awful in the playoffs. And I don't really care like how good he was in the regular season. You have to show up in the playoffs, especially like New York, a city that's been struggling in the play hasn't been in the playoffs. Prior to this season, they had the last time they won a playoff series was 2013, so a decade ago roughly. And that's the frustrating part. Like they easily, I'm not saying easily, they could have won this Heat series. It came down to really, the Heat were way more disciplined. They took better shots. The ball movement was better, and also they out hustled us. They out hustled us on the offensive boards. There was, I believe, it was game 4. No, it might have been. It was a bunch of games. But the Heat had like 8 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks ended up losing obviously. So that's what's frustrating because their mistakes were controllable. Like Julius Randle was just settling for threes, and I think Coach Tibbs should have made adjustments in the sense of like if it's playoff time, if Randle's not playing well, like everyone can have a bad game, but if he's having like a 4 or 5 game bad stretch in the playoffs, you got to look to some other options. And you know how critical I was to RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was outside of Brunson, he was the most consistent player, but Game 6 was awful. 1 for 10 from the field. He was not. He sometimes. I think he's a player who relies a lot on his confidence. You can tell sometimes he gets rattled, but his confidence was for some reason he did not seem the same. I did not see that same confident RJ Barrett in games from the Cleveland series and also games 1 through 5 in Game 6, and he was 1 for 10. Shot selection, he gets to the rim, but he just can't finish through contact all the time. And then Josh Hart, great plug piece this we got during the trade deadline. But in the fast break, he turns it over almost every time he gets it. Like if there's nothing there in a fast break, just take it out and save the possession. And I don't want to just be harping on the Knicks because they had in my eyes they had a successful season. Because if you're gonna tell me before the season they would be 2 wins away from the conference finals, I would have not believed it. And Jalen Brunson. A lot of people are critical about that signing, myself included, because you just didn't know what you were getting out of that. Because he was great in Dallas, but you just didn't know what he would be as the guy, getting the best defenders from each team. And it was spectacular. He had 41 of our 92 points in Game 6. Obviously, we lost, but he was the reason we were in that game. Yes, he had that unfortunate turnover, but if our season ends because we put the ball in Jalen Brunson's hand and he made a mistake, I can live with that because he was our guy. He's what got us here. He was the most consistent player. He was the best player. I don't know how we got All NBA 13, which we'll get into later, but that's besides the point. And then on the flip side, I wanted to give credit to the Heat. I said it's Spoelstra in my eyes, best coach in the league right now. Obviously, if we're not counting Popovich, he just makes those adjustments. He gets his players ready to go. I don't know any other coach in the league right now that could get like an 8 seed like that, where like you guys were like 4 minutes away in the plane from going home against Chicago, and look at you guys now in the conference finals. Exactly.
Keep preaching,
And
man.
I'm not a Heat
preaching,
fan by
Brian.
any means,
Keep
but
preaching.
I got to give credit where
Keep
credit's
going.
due. The Heat were ready. They're way more disciplined. It was frustrating seeing them take 5 charges every 5 minutes, but that's disciplined basketball, and the Knicks were undisciplined. That's what it came down to. And the one thing I got to say is, you guys are so much better when Bam Adebayo is aggressive. Like his mid range is so lethal. Like the thing is sometimes he just reminds me of Anthony Davis a little bit. Sometimes he just doesn't have that motor, and he can score on pretty much any big. I think he can. Like if he just is aggressive, gets to the rim, he finishes well, but his mid range is pretty much automatic. Yeah.
How about this? Y'all send Julius Randle down to Miami, man. We'll get him aggressive. We'll send
him
back.
I said to you before, my ideal offseason for the Knicks is to move on from Randle, and if that means moving on from RJ Barrett too, so be it. I'll take Bridges.
Bring Michael Bridges. Bring that guy that's over there in Brooklyn.
I can't see that really happening in any world where Boston gives up Jaylen Brown, but
even though the Heat beat you, they might help you with that if we beat them.
Yeah, so other than that,
never know.
Playoffs, obviously successful season in my eyes. Obviously didn't end the way we wanted. But going forward, Randle, I don't think is the guy. Our best player was awful in the playoffs, and they were 2 wins from the conference finals, which is crazy. Definitely I could have seen us winning this for sure if we played a little bit harder, honestly. It's funny because the NBA, it seems like it comes down to those fundamental things that happens in like recreation basketball, like offensive rebounding, just effort, and free throws too. That's what it comes down to.
It really does. It's the effort. It's the thing that the
Yeah.
coaches, those old school coaches, or every time you play with like a older person, the old
Exactly.
heads, they're always like, "Oh, you gotta go for rebounds, get on the ball, and jump for." And
Yeah.
it's true because to be honest,
Exactly.
it is a part of the game. It is a part of the game. And I mean, I even tell this. I mean, shout out to my cousin Joseph. I've even told this even like for trying out for teams and all that. Like it's the effort. It's really the effort. If you're giving 200% effort, if you're diving like you like that, like just even if you want
That's
to
what it
get
comes
this to the
down to.
professional level, to the high level NBA,
Literally.
there's guys in the league that are
Exactly.
just there for effort. PJ Tucker, he's just there for effort. He can shoot the corner three, good for
Effort.
him. But effort, it's literally effort. It's I'm gonna go for every rebound. I'm gonna go for every loose ball. I'm gonna guard either the first
Yeah.
option or second option with all I can have. Like
Exactly.
that is literally why everyone is questioning what's going on with the Heat. But it's just like, I'm sorry, but like, yes, the stats, like I know this is an offensive, game now. It's that generation. Everyone's shooting from the hash, everyone's shooting it from the logo, everyone's shooting it from the basement. Like it's everything. Everyone's doing
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and everybody can now almost make
So
any crazy
skilled.
shot because like everyone's practicing it now. But and this is where it shows that people are focusing more on like maybe just trying to be offensive juggernauts rather than
Yeah.
trying to trying to crack every aspect of the game because like we're I'm sorry, and I know it's my team, and I really don't want to try to keep giving my team effort or not
No, you're
effort but
good.
credit. And I guess not that I'm not trying to. It's just like
Yeah.
our team has been that. Like our team has always been like the last couple years, like ever since we got like Jimmy, like no one has thought of any of our players as like big time players. Like maybe people that love the game and know the game, like us, we know that like we know Jimmy Butler's a superstar. I'm sorry, Jimmy Butler's a superstar. In my eyes, he's a superstar. He's been a superstar. He's a great
Yeah.
player and he deserves everything he gets. You know, he's a winner. He's a winner. That's what I love about Jimmy. He's a winner. Like that. That's why it didn't work out in Timberwolves. We saw how that's worked out for them. They're making dumb trades and getting Rudy Gobert. The 76ers somehow can't get past
Yeah.
the second round. And look at him now on the
Yeah.
Heat. He's
And that's
making
what
to
it
the
came
Eastern
down to
Conference
because
Finals, but get to the
the Knicks,
finals.
the effort, they were out hustled. And I'm gonna say it. This might come off harsh, but Quentin Grimes is out there running laps. Like he's supposed to be this two-way guard.
That's fine. We've said that to another player on this
Yeah.
podcast. We've said that
Exactly.
to a
But
player on the Heat too. Duncan Robinson
Quentin
was
Grimes,
running
like
laps too, so it's okay.
he's a three-point shooter who can defend, but I didn't think his impact defensively was like that's why I didn't understand when Grimes he was injured, so Josh Hart started, and then Grimes came off the bench, and then in game 5 and 6 I believe, definitely game
Mm.
6 I don't know about game 5, we started Grimes, which I didn't understand because he doesn't really make any threes. He airballed that three with the game on the line. He rushed it with 8 seconds left, which was very frustrating. But
Mm.
um, like it's stuff like that what it
Yeah.
came down to. Like it looks like we were a little bit phased. Like Quentin Grimes, his first playoff series, I get it, but it was frustrating to say the least. But in hindsight, I am proud of the team. I still don't know if Tibbs is our guy. I think players are gonna get worn down if they continue to overplay him. Like there was that one game where I guess I understand why Brunson played the entire game, but why is Quentin Grimes playing 42 minutes in one? Like I don't get. Like I just think if you give Josh Hart 42 minutes, even Deuce McBride showed flashes.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of him, but when he went in the Cleveland series, he took a charge, he hit a three, and he also guarded
A
Donovan Mitchell
view
very well. And
alum.
like the 7 minutes, he was in the game for it. Shout out to West Virginia alum, obviously, but yeah. So that was frustrating. But in hindsight,
Yes,
I think we got a
sir.
big offseason ahead of us. I honestly think we are a shooting guard away from competing, like actually competing for like this team's ready to win. When if we get a Jaylen Brown, that's my ideal offseason. I
Fair
don't think
enough.
that's gonna happen. We'd have to give up a lot, rightfully so. So we'll see what happens, though, Mike. But obviously, I think we both. Oh, your season's still going on, but we both
Yeah.
been surprised with how our teams finished, or like how my team finished and how your team where you're at.
Mhm.
But as
Yeah.
a Knick fan, the season's over. I'm just hoping the games are close. I'm a
Keep
huge.
going. Yeah.
I hate to say I'm a huge Jimmy guy. I am a huge Joker guy too, as you know, Mike. So are you. So the playoffs gonna be fun, man. It stinks not having my team in there, but it's all good, man. We're gonna be back next year, and I'm
Yes.
looking forward to it.
I believe it. I believe it. I'm hopeful for the Knicks too. I mean, I feel like you guys are just maybe like one or two pieces away from being, you know, contenders for the finals. Honestly, I mean, even Eastern Conference Finals. I feel like you guys are contenders as well. Um, Even with the team now, I feel like you guys are contenders for definitely Eastern Conference. You know, especially how teams are playing. But here's the thing. I want to segue into this because this is it's funny that we bring up conversations like this and we talk about like effort and stuff like this. And you talked about Tom Thibodeau. We talked about minutes being played, but
Yeah,
let's react to these firings around the league recently. Some questionable, some more like, what do you do next? What's the next opportunity for this coach, or what's the next coach opportunity for this team? So we had several coaches. We had Mike Budenholzer fired. We had
yeah, and
Nick
I
Nurse
hate it.
fired. Doc Rivers fired, and Monty Williams fired. What irks me is the names of these
Successful
coaches,
too.
and it's
Like,
four of them. Four of them, great
um,
coaches too. Ooh, very successful coaches, and it irked me because it's one of them you question because it's just like I think he's a great coach, and I know he's a great coach, but
yeah,
with history, we've seen that he just somehow can't get over the hump, and we know who that is, unfortunately, and that's Doc Rivers. I love Doc Rivers, and I think he's a
yeah,
great coach. It's just I don't know where to go with him. Don't know, I feel so bad because it's just like he's a good coach. He builds good like connections with players. Like I mean, there's a report that just came out either today
yeah,
or last night that I saw. Joel Embiid was shocked by the firing because he said he built a good relationship with Doc Rivers. So I'm sitting here and it's almost like dealing with life. I'm questioning everything. Like it's just like, do I do I blame it on the players? Do I
yeah.
blame it on Joel
That's
Embiid and James
exactly,
Harden for
exactly.
scoring
Uh,
only 9 and 15 points in a closeout game? Or do I blame Doc Rivers for not making adjustments the right way in certain games where he could have? And it's just weird because it's like, ooh, like what's going on? Is this more of just maybe higher
yeah,
ups is not okay with Doc Rivers? Is it maybe behind the scenes?
yeah,
Maybe something else is like it's weird when it comes to Doc Rivers. Like I don't know what to do with Doc Rivers anymore. It's either I don't know whether to be like retire, dude, like retire. I feel like you're still maybe like I still
yeah,
feel like in my heart he'll probably still be a Hall of Fame coach, but he's gonna be a very questionable Hall of Fame coach because after he won his one ring, it's been
yeah.
like
I
I don't
think you
want to
bring
say
up a great
downhill, but
point
it's
with
been
Doc,
very
and I'm not
stationary.
a high on Doc at all. I do think he's an overrated coach. He hasn't been able to get over that hump. He couldn't do it with the Lob City teams. Yeah, he, he
Oh, that hurts me
yeah,
so
he is, but
bad to
he
hear
doesn't
that
really
though.
make
It
in-game
hurts me.
adjustments.
I
And
think he's a
to be
great
fair to his
coach.
credit, I mean, he got obviously with the help of his team, but he got the Sixers to a Game 7 with Boston, where his two best players were awful. And you want to say Embiid, yeah, Embiid gets his MVP. Harden is supposed to be
Fumbled a
having this,
huge bag.
he's not the James Harden who scores the ball, but he's that facilitator. But he was so inconsistent, and that's not Doc Rivers' fault. Like if you're the most valuable player, if you're the best player in the world for that whole season, and you can't show up when your team needs you in the most important game of the season, like that's not the head coach's fault. And obviously some responsibility falls
Yeah.
on that.
Oh.
And also so obviously
Mm.
other coaches like obviously Budenholzer. It's not Budenholzer's fault Giannis got hurt. And I know Budenholzer had some personal issues going on, so I'm not going to speak on that, but it's not his fault. And like
Yeah.
if Giannis is healthy, I'm not saying the Bucks
Hmm.
win that series,
Of
but
course.
if he's healthy from game 1, it's looking a little bit different, I'll say that. And um, I mean that's just how it works though. You can't just that's part of the game injuries. So like it's kind of like this championship or bust. But all these coaches like Monty Williams got to a finals. I do think Monty Williams. I don't think they should have fired him. When the way I look at it, like with the DeAndre Ayton situation, I don't know. I've been trying to look more into it, and
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I Here, can I say something real quick? You keep going. I'm sorry. I know you want to keep going into that. Sorry, bro. Um, here's the thing. What made me weird about the
Which one?
Monty Williams thing was the tweet
Yeah,
that
what did that
Kevin
mean? I
Durant
was kind of
posted.
confused.
The 36 unbothered. So what he meant was, so he's 35. Who
Oh,
wears
I
number
see.
one
Yeah.
on the Suns? Devin Booker. So he's saying 36 is unbothered.
No, I see.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to go as deep as to say this because we've seen this now with now two coaches. Kevin
That's
Durant
fair.
almost has a Kyrie Irving tendency with coaches, and I do not know why, especially with a guy like Monty Williams, because that's another guy. It's not like Doc Rivers. Monty Williams has been successful. Like he was in the dirt when his team was bad and he was just coaching, but like he was developing guys and people were talking highly. And then he made it to the next level with like Devin Booker and all of them, and they started doing good, making it to the finals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like you hear good things about him, and then you get to this point, and then you see the two-star players unbothered about the whole
Yeah.
idea,
But
and
you
I'm
bring it.
just
No.
like,
Yeah. Exactly.
what's going on? Like
Oh, no, finish.
the
You're good. You're
history
good.
before Kevin Durant got there. Yeah, sorry. But here's my last thing. Here's my thing. Before Kevin Durant got there, you guys were fine. They were okay. Like they were good. Like we were still questionable with them, but they were still top 5 in the West. Monty Williams was still the coach. They like history has showed they've been fine. Like they made it to the
Yeah.
finals. They've gone far with Monty Williams. They've been fine, right? They get Kevin Durant. They kind of go to another level until they get to the playoffs, and they kind of, you know, don't show up. They didn't show up. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, like when that Nugget series came to the Nugget series, holy crud! It was
Yeah.
everything from coaching to players. They got outperformed in everything, in everything. And I don't know if you can blame Monty Williams for that or blame even Kevin Durant for that because I've been saying this. The Nuggets are the best team, and they're the best built
Yeah. Hands down.
team, especially around the best player in the world.
Great coach.
So, and they have a really great coach. I like Mike Malone. And with that, it makes me question with all that, and they took that next step with Kevin Durant, and it looked really good. Like literally, when Kevin Durant came on the team and they were doing good and they were winning games, they went undefeated with Kevin
Yeah.
Durant in the regular season until near the end.
Yeah.
What happened in that meantime? You're telling me you're gonna fire Monty Williams in that meantime, where it looked like all signs were kind of good until, yeah, you lost in the playoffs, and I could understand. Yes, when she got Kevin Durant, you guys were winning. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Suns to the finals, Suns to the finals." It's impossible. Durant and Booker, that's crazy. Finals. I get it. But like,
Yeah. Yeah. No.
they just made that team. They
Yeah.
just made that team for
I
free agency. They just made that team. So what? Yeah, I really don't know. And it what makes me mad is if it comes down to the point to where it comes out that like
Yeah.
Devin Booker and Kevin Durant wanted him out of there, I don't even know if I can respect them as players. Not as players, but I don't know if I can respect them as like I don't even know. Not players. They're great players. Love them to death. But like, are you kidding me? You're gonna kick out Monty? Like, you guys are good. You guys are
Yeah.
fine. Like, I get
I.
it. You guys couldn't beat the Nuggets, but what's the problem in that? Like, what's the huge deal with not losing to the Nuggets? They were the best team. They've had their team since the beginning. Like, they made little moves, but
Yeah.
like,
I.
what?
I think that also
What's the
the one
problem?
the one
What was the
criticism, a
problem?
couple critiques I have of Monty is the honestly, well, obviously the Nuggets are the more well constructed team than the Suns. They have more depth, but if you look at like the Suns,
Mm.
like he just didn't play really. Damian Lee, who had a good regular season, he could stretch the floor and hit a three. Same with T.J. Warren, like why trade for him? Terrence Ross, like he got a bunch of DMPs in the playoffs. Like why is Landry Shamet though like 6 man? Like I understand a bunch of things he was doing, but the one thing I will say is like the only another problem I have with Monty Williams, like you have the probably talent wise, you have one of the top 3 talented teams in the NBA. Like just talent. I'm not saying depth wise. And you have obviously different personalities with Devin Booker, with Kevin Durant, and you still can't, get over the hump. So I'm not saying it should be championship or bust, but you traded for Kevin Durant to win a championship. And in hindsight, haven't like I think this series right here of the Nuggets Suns is a perfect example of having role players outweighs having stars. Like you could have 3 of the top 15 players in the world, but if you have no role players, you're not going to win because those guys can each give you 30, and you could still lose. And that's what's frustrating if you're the Suns. Like if you're a Suns fan, that's got to be frustrating. But I'll say this: Kevin Durant, very underwhelming in the playoffs. Devin Booker was outside of Game 6 where everything went wrong for the Suns. Devin Booker was the best player in the playoffs for the Phoenix Suns. And Kevin Durant, you trade for him to be that guy because he's that one piece you need to get a championship. And you look a couple years back, they were right there where they lost to the Bucks. And also, DeAndre Ayton, he's very soft. Doesn't have a great attitude. But my problem with it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's another big man that's making me so mad.
But like,
Another
I'm not saying they shouldn't bench him when he's playing bad, but it's like I feel like I don't know if I'm missing something, but I feel like Monty's just got to be like I don't know if he coaches the guy, to be honest with you. Like he's the first overall pick. Maybe they just expected him to go out there and just produce, give you 2010.
probably doesn't.
Yeah,
He's probably not coachable. I don't even know what to talk about that. You're definitely right. The things you're bringing up, yeah, he did bring up like questionable things, like putting guys in the wrong, like obviously rotation wise and stuff like that. You're
that's
right.
true. No,
but
I agree.
DeAndre, I don't know. I
The
think
way I
he's
look
not
at it, like
at this
feel
point.
like
I don't know if
things
he's
were, if
coachable.
DeAndre Ayton was that much of a problem, why would they have signed him to that contract? Why would they have just let him go? Like and do a sign and trade and get something in return. So yes, DeAndre Ayton's a problem. Yes, yeah, exactly. They chose to. So yeah,
That's true.
and the problems with
They matched the
DeAndre
offer.
Ayton,
Remember, they
he didn't just
matched the
start this year.
offer.
He's had
The
these issues
offer
when he
was
first came
there. They
into the league.
chose to.
So I feel like if DeAndre Ayton, yes, he is a problem. Yes, his effort is a problem. His attitude is a problem. His production isn't always consistent. He's very soft, shies away from contact. But if DeAndre Ayton was that much of a problem, if he is the only problem for the Phoenix Suns, why would they have matched that? Why would they have matched that massive like $100 million plus deal? And yes, he has a lot to work on, but he's not the only problem in Phoenix. Like Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. He's going to give you numbers, but if you watch the games, he was very underwhelming. For the stuff you gave up, like in hindsight, they did not give up as much as people thought for Kevin Durant.
Oh yeah,
but
he kept
they gave up
shooting the
their
ball.
core pieces in Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, cornerstones for their franchise, where they're kind of giving that up for Kevin Durant shows you're trying to win now. And obviously, they didn't get that job done. And you got to give credit to the Nuggets. The Nuggets, I mean, you talked about them all year, Mike. I'll admit I did not. They did not catch my eye as much as they should have, or as much as they caught your eye. But they're just better. They're just better. And the Joker, best player in the world. I don't even think that's up for discussion. That whole
I love the Nuggets,
MVP
man.
debate. Embiid can have his MVP.
I love watching the Nuggets.
We're seeing who shows up in the playoffs, whose teams are better in the playoffs.
It's
But
not.
it's interesting to see. So that's what I have to say though. So like I don't think DeAndre Ayton is the only problem in Phoenix. He gets way too much of the blame.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I agree. He does it. He does get a lot of blame. It's just here's the thing. When it comes to the Suns, they've made very questionable calls. Very questionable calls. You signed, you match the guy that has had these little issues on and off the court. You bring in another guy that he's gonna give you his stuff. Kevin Durant. You know, you never know. You don't know what type of Kevin Durant you get. You get like obviously you get a dominant one, but there's gonna be times where he might shoot 20 something shots though. And that's what he was doing against the Nuggets because he was shooting a lot. It was crazy. He was doing some fadeaways. So I was like, I know you've done those before, but I think you're forcing it in these moments. And I don't know what you're doing, but only thing I can say is with the Suns, man, like figure it out. Like I guess maybe get a coach that can that is maybe more better in rotation and better maybe with DeAndre Ayton because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are fine. Obviously, they're unbothered, via Kevin Durant. If they're unbothered, which is fine, that's cool. We know them. We know they're gonna drop their 30, their 40. They're gonna go off next year. That's fine. But I'm not gonna lie, they're not gonna get over any playoff hump because that's the thing. I think that's why Ayton gets the blame. They will not. They could make it pretty far, but when you get matchups like the Nuggets, you get matchups like the Lakers, you get matchups where you need people down low.
Yeah.
That is where it's going to hurt him because Durant is not like Durant could guard, but he's not going to stay down there and bang. He's not going to stay down. He's not going to stay down to get rebounds. Like if he gets rebounds, he's getting the rebound and taking off right away. You need someone that's going to get the rebound, maybe outlet pass, all that type of stuff. So like a Kevin Love.
Yeah.
We saw it last night against Celtic. Kevin Love had that one rebound. He just threw it down court. That's it. That was the thing. Break starter. That's my man. That's why I love that. But yeah, they need a coach that's obviously gonna have a good game plan and everything. Maybe let Devin Booker and Kevin Durant do their thing because obviously in this league now you kind of need to let your 1 and 2 do their thing because I'm not gonna lie, we do have a lot of prima donnas in the league. I'm a prima donna myself. I will say that. My dad calls me princess. Shout out to my father. But we do have a lot of prima donnas in this league, which is fine. But you don't give your guys some lenience to do whatever they can do because they're great in the game of basketball. It is going to be a problem, especially when you do have guys like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to speak for Devin Booker because Devin Booker hasn't really came out really talking reckless about a coach not letting him do his thing. But Kevin Durant has, and he will, and I feel like maybe he has somewhat of a right. Maybe, not really, but that's just because he's Kevin Durant. But yeah, I think moving forward for the Suns, they get a coach that's made better rotation, maybe make some moves because they really signed some players and got players on that bench that they really just stopped playing. So, and that's what I didn't understand, which maybe that probably is a Monty Williams problem. But yeah, I would maybe bring a coach in that's maybe could better use that bench or move pieces to better complement the bench and complement the starting team with the right coach. But most importantly, I need for them. I'm one of those people that does kind of put blame on DeAndre because I do like the big man, and I put a lot of pride in the big man, and I feel like a lot of teams need at least a good role playing big man or at least a star big man. And I'm not gonna lie to you, my main example is Jokic with that because we're seeing that on the offensive end. This dude is just whoa. Once we start talking about him, we're gonna go off because the dude is doing ridiculous things. But yeah, you need that. You need a nice little dominant inside, and DeAndre Ayton can do that. It's just he needs maybe good coaching and maybe a little smack in the head. Yeah. I'm telling you, you know what? All these guys about effort and bring them down to Miami. We'll freaking craft them into like it's almost bring them to boot camp, military style. Bring them to boot camp. Bring them down to Miami. We'll put you through some crazy stuff, and you'll become a better. You'll have the effort in you because that's all we want. We don't even care if you can't shoot the 3 ball. We don't even care if you can't even dribble and all you're doing is catching and shooting. All we want is effort. And that's what we need from DeAndre. And it's so crazy in this league. And this is why I bring up the prima donna word. And I'm sorry to say that, but we see that in different guys. We see that in guys that we don't want to see it in. We see it in DeAndre, and that team could be a finals winning team if DeAndre is playing like a 2015 game every playoff series. You see that in Joel Embiid. You see that in Karl Anthony Towns, the effort where it's just dude, you know how dominant y'all can be? You know how crazy y'all are good at the game of basketball and how big y'all are? y'all could be amazing. Like Joel
Wait,
Embiid,
Embiid said that?
Patrick Beverly said he's the most dominant big since Shaq.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. It's
No. Patrick Beverly said it on his podcast. You know how crazy that is to say? Because that makes me mad. That makes me mad because I think he's
yeah.
dominant, but then when he doesn't have that effort and he scores 15 in a
Yeah,
closeout
but that's
game
what I'm saying. That's the difference
and doesn't
between
even have good
him and
games even
Jokic.
during
Like,
that series as an
obviously,
MVP.
Jokic has 2 MVPs and whatnot, but like Jokic has showed up for his team. Like, I've not. There's a. It's more of like what Embiid's effort. His effort just was not there, and he's supposed to be this dominant big who is compared to Shaq, but he just can't. He doesn't show up in the biggest game of the season. Looks uninterested. It looks like he just kind of want like he got his MVP. Like looks like that's all he cared about. That's why like yeah.
Dude, he kept falling on the ground. They were placing bets on
He
bet
relies
things on
he
like
relies too
MGM with
much
all that
on
stuff they
free
were talking
throws.
about,
If he
making
doesn't
jokes
get to the
about
free
how
throw
many
line, he
times
does
Joel
not
Embiid's gonna
score. Like
fall.
I,
Why? Why?
yeah,
Too much. James Harden was probably the
but that's the thing.
worst
Also,
partner to get for him
they
because,
are,
and I'm saying it
and
in this way
Embiid relies
because
on the free throws.
they're butt
But and
fishing
to be
for
fair, he gets
fouls.
fouled. But when he does not get those those cheap calls where he really over exaggerates the contact and creates the contact, he that's when he gives
He
you
does, yeah.
13 points, 15 points. Like, for him to really be dominant, he gets to the free throw line like 10. He shoots like 10, 12 free
Mm-hmm.
throws a game, and when he doesn't get those free throws, they don't win. So that's why that's just not a recipe to win a championship because you have to be able to score in the half court. You have to be able to score in transition. And what Jokic does, Jokic elevates the play of everyone on the court. He makes these ridiculous cross-court passes where nobody knows what to expect. And you see Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, Michael Porter Jr. that never sees a shot he doesn't like. Just you can tell playing with Jokic gives them that confidence. We're like they're just gonna let it fly, and it goes in a lot of the time. So that's what's so dangerous about this Nuggets team, which is the difference from Philadelphia. Is the star player for Denver elevates the entire team, whereas Philly's kind of just like doing their own thing. It looks like they kind of just like roll the ball out there, set a couple of screens, and just live and die with their two guys. Where Jokic really shares the wealth.
Yeah. No, I agree. He shares the wealth. He gets.
Yeah.
God, I could keep talking about that man. I've been watching too many highlights of Nikolai Jokic. That dude is just ridiculous. Uh,
Sixers.
but go. I
Well,
mean, even talking about Joel
it's
Embiid and the
obviously.
Sixers.
I
What do
think
you feel about the
I saw
future
a
of the
couple
Sixers?
reports
Bro?
that like Harden wanted
Moving
Doc
on from
gone,
Doc
which
Rivers.
is ridiculous. It's not all Doc's fault, but I think that shows they're committed to running this back one more year. I do think I know Harden's opting out. I see those reports of him being linked to Houston, which I really just do not see happening at all. But why would he go back? And so I think Philly. I mean, they're not gonna like just let Embiid walk. So I
I
think
don't
they're gonna
understand
run it back. Is
why.
Harden gonna be there? I think he will. I have a feeling he'll be back in Philly. But the future of the Sixers, man. We also I didn't understand about Doc Rivers is like it took him like halfway through the playoffs to realize like not halfway through the playoffs, but it took him to the playoffs to realize like oh Tyrese Maxey's pretty good at basketball. Like what there was a one point season where they're starting DeAnthony Melton, which maybe you want that scoring off the bench of Tyrese Maxey, but having that third scorer was so important for Philly. Like I told you before the series, I remember Mike. I said if the Sixers want to win this playoff series against Boston, Maxey's going to have to average 24,
Yeah.
25 points per game because they're going to need that third score because Harden is not that Harden scorer anymore. And Embiid, he'll give you numbers, but as we can tell, they don't always contribute to winning.
Mm-hmm.
So I think going forward for Philly, I think they're gonna. I think retooling, they're gonna have to reshape that entire team. I think obviously they're gonna keep Embiid. I think they got to look to move on from Tobias Harris. I think they're gonna have to I think they're gonna have to build around Maxey and Embiid. And then if Harden wants to come back, maybe you give him like a 2-year deal with a player opt out again and give it one more chance or a team option. I'd probably run it back one more time because only because I just don't know what else they can get from Harden. Like I just don't know what other option they have than James Harden as like that main facilitator. And Maxey's more of a scorer. Like, just he's gonna get you buckets. So I would be very surprised if James Harden is in a different uniform than Philly next year. So I think building around Embiid, and they gotta really just give the keys to Maxey. I think that's what's key because Maxey is so good. His defense is he actually wasn't that bad in the playoffs, regular season. I didn't think he was a great defender. He's a little bit smaller, but for Philly to compete and actually get past the second round for once, I think they have to reshape this team. I think they gotta get rid of Tobias Harris and just get more role players. Like Paul Reed is not a bad backup. You have Melton. Like they have not an awful bench, but that's not a bench that's going to win you a championship. So I think they just got to get more depth. And
Like
as I
Paul
said,
Reed.
I'd be very surprised if James Harden is not in Philly next year. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I agree.
Like why? Like player
I mean,
development.
I
He's
kind
not
of
at that
laughed
point. Like
when you
he's like
said I don't know why he'd
34.
go to Houston because I laughed because I said I know why he's going to Houston.
Why would
So,
Houston even want that though? Why would Houston want
no,
to mess up their development? Just
it's a
like
joke. With me,
then you have
it's a
Harden,
joke
Kevin
because
Porter
there's a
Jr. and
meme.
Jalen Green. Like
It's
that's not gonna work. That's
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
work. Those two don't even work together. I've said to you, Mike. I'm sorry for going on a rant here, but that backcourt of Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green is not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. They're not gonna win if
No, you're good.
they're not gonna win with those guys at the helm. It's not gonna happen. I don't know if you saw Mike, but did you see Victor Wembanyama's reaction to like the Rockets getting the 4th pick? Which I wouldn't want to go to Houston either. It's a mess there, and I don't know what bringing James Harden would do. I think it would make it worse.
The Rock. Oh yeah, his reaction. Yeah, that was interesting.
Where at?
Brian, look at the chat. I want you to look at the chat, but don't say anything. That's what I'm laughing at. Remember the top right with the little
I
chat
have no idea what
box.
you're talking about.
Remember when you're looking at the. Don't read it out loud.
Yeah.
No, you don't see the chat. You
I'm a
don't see
little
like
slow,
the. Dang. So you know when you go in the voice channels. Sorry, I'm trying to show the joke. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to show the joke why. Okay, so are you on the main screen where like us, all three of us, or
Oh
two of
my
us are talking?
God! Yeah, I see. That's why I want to go
Okay,
back
you
to
see the
Houston.
top right where it says like little chat box.
Yeah,
Remember you were looking for like.
but
Now press
okay,
that. Look what I texted.
exactly. But
That's why.
that's funny.
That's why
But
he
I
wants to
just
go
don't
back to
know.
Houston.
I can't see in any
There
world.
you go.
If he leaves
That's
Philly,
the joke. That's
I
the
don't know
joke.
why.
That's the meme.
Well, for his career, why he would even want to go to Houston. I don't know why Houston would want him. He doesn't want to win. So you're telling me he really wants to develop players? I don't buy that.
If he goes back to Houston, I'm just gonna say it. James Harden never wants to win. James Harden doesn't want to win. He doesn't want to win.
Honestly, come to New York, James. Come to New York.
Why would James Harden, out of all people, want to develop players?
Yeah, no. If he wants
That's
to be
the
like
last
the
person.
shooter, no, we won't do that. But yeah. So I don't know what's gonna go on in Houston.
No.
I think that's a mess.
Y'all are too
they've
good.
been rebuilding since.
Don't do.
Even when Harden was there, like they were competing. I think they made a conference finals, but like I don't know. That's franchise.
Yeah. Get another wing player for them. They get another good little wing player. They complement that with maybe Cape. I know you talked about how not having them two together, Jalen Green and KPJ, but like maybe another good wing player. Because I mean, maybe another big. I know they're obviously not going to get Victor Wembanyama.
I think that's the guy they build around.
But
I think he could be like
Sengun's a good center. I like Sengun.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I like Alperen Sengun.
I think
He's a good center.
He
could develop and
put him like alongside another guy.
Yeah, they could build around him. He could be like their main center and then have like a little backup center.
I don't think Jalen Green's that guy. I think Jalen Green's actually gonna. Hey, Kevin Porter, not at all. Not at all.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You don't think so? Not with the way like. I mean, you brought up a good name, De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis.
I compare him to Jordan Poole, like guys.
De'Aaron Fox. I mean, the capability, the potential in Jalen Green has, and like how much skills
they're too out of control. They're not gonna. They're too. I'm not saying they play alike. I'm saying they remind me of each other.
I
They're
don't know
too out
about
of
that
control, and
comparison.
I think all they want to do is score the basketball. Like,
Oh, that's fair.
well, he's not like bad at basketball. I just don't like his style of play.
Oh, I was gonna say some ridiculous stuff and say Jalen Green's actually good, but
Yeah, Jordan Poole is awful.
no.
And the
Something about
Warriors
Jordan Poole this
were,
playoffs turned me off. I don't know
I,
what the heck happened,
I
man.
saw Draymond Green say it that he said that if that beef with Jordan Poole
Well, he
never
disappeared.
happened, then they would have beat the Lakers, which I don't buy for a second. But I just wonder like how much that's lingering. Like if I wonder if that's like still like. I mean, I'm sure it is because I mean, he punched him in the face, but like
Oh,
I'm just
jeez.
curious to see
Yeah.
like how. What? What?
Oh, shoot. Oh,
Yeah.
there, no, that
Yeah.
proves it to you right there, Brian. He just brought it up after a playoff series loss. Draymond Green
Are you talking about
brought that up that that's
Draymond
still
Green?
lingering. That he said,
Draymond
"Oh,
said that
it wasn't."
if
Or
that
he
didn't
said it's still
happen,
lingering, or he was questioning if it was
they
still
wouldn't
lingering.
beat
What
the
you
Lakers.
said? He questioned, or he was still lingering?
Exactly. So it's like
Draymond Green. What Draymond Green said.
we're like I don't know. That's
If
what I
it never
find
happened.
interesting. But I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
Golden
see
State
right
paid
there,
him the
just the way
bag,
he
so they
said
got
that
to stick
shows it
with him
was
because
still
I don't know a
lingering.
lot of
If it
teams.
didn't
I
happen,
mean, this
yeah,
could be like kind of where Tyler Hero struggled for a bit that one year, and then he came back and went crazy. So, I mean, to be fair to Jordan Poole, he's at one point he was statistically one of the worst players in the NBA. So he's definitely made the right progression. I think. I guess that situation obviously did not
yeah,
help,
that's true.
but he's a good player. It's just he had a terrible playoff.
Mm. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but terrible playoff. Even kind of the regular season, near the end of the regular season, it kind of wasn't really. It looked like he
Yeah.
was like depleting, but yeah, maybe you're right. You did bring up that good example of Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero did have that one not so great year, but yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
that's actually very true.
even though he didn't
Um,
have that great so year regular season, he still came in the playoffs and performed though. That's the thing. I think that's the difference between him and Tyler Hero. So but that's fair. I wish the best
yeah.
though for Jordan Poole. Just it does make me upset because, like to be honest, he could have been the tide turned for the Warriors against the Lakers. So that's one thing I will say. But we saw how that went. Um, Obviously, we're talking about future. We're talking about what happens with these teams next for these coaches, and it's obviously we have a lot of questions with how
Yeah.
coaches are coaching or why coaches are getting fired. But future, we're talking about future. We
Crazy.
brought them up. Draft lottery just happened. San Antonio Spurs
Yeah.
are getting the number uno pick, which will most likely be the Frenchman, the French Slender Man, the French Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Well, his
I
Eiffel
think
Tower is
Mike.
French. Let me not be
One thing
dumb.
I just want
Sorry.
to say because when I was watching the
The
draft
Eiffel
lottery,
Tower, the actual
they
Eiffel
kind of did it
Tower.
with Zion. They're like,
Victor
how does it feel that you're going to
Wembanyama.
San Antonio? And when Zion was getting drafted, it was like, how do you feel you're going to New Orleans? Like, I mean, the draft. I know Victor Wembanyama hands down the number one pick. Like, it's happening. Like, but like the draft hasn't. Like, what if something drastic happens, or an injury happens, or like they get like an insane like trade package. Like yeah, when Brian Windhorst exactly when Brian Windhorst was interviewing Victor Wembanyama right after the draft lottery, he's like, how's it feel
You
you're
get an
going to San
Anthony Bennett
Antonio and
pick.
all this stuff. Like I don't know. I just didn't like that. I get it because he's gonna be the first pick regardless, but there's some I mean, there's no time until the draft. But I think for Victor Wembanyama's case, obviously an ideal landing spot, San Antonio. I was actually hoping that my pick, I was really hoping Portland got the first pick because I would have liked to see him and Dame. But I mean, we saw with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, like they are a very good place to develop. Are they ready to win now? No, they are not. But the Spurs are. That's a great place for him to go and learn from Popovich. They got just a great. They know what they're doing over there. And Colin Coward said it best. Like they're like just they said something along the lines of like that organization is just top tier in terms of just getting players ready. So he's probably got drafted into the best case scenario that he can that he can be in. And I think the draft really starts at number 2 with Charlotte. Does Charlotte go Scoot Henderson and pair him alongside Lonzo Ball? Do they go by Brandon Miller or one of the Thompson twins? So that's gonna be interesting. That's when the draft like really starts. And Charlotte doesn't have the best, I guess, draft history, but yeah, for Victor Wembanyama's case, going to San Antonio is probably the best place he could have went.
Mm.
For he's obviously not going to go to a winning franchise. If he wanted to win now, the place probably would have been Portland. But in this case, it's definitely going to be good to see him in San Antonio. But they're hyping him up. Like if he's not a top player of all time, it's kind of similar. They're comparing him to LeBron. So if he's not an all-time great, his career might be a bust.
That's true. That's very, very true. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, only at the age of 19, 7 foot. Last time
What'd you say?
measured 7'5". Oof.
Oh no,
This
yeah.
crazy. This guy's supposed to be like a new. Sorry about the
Oh,
loud
no, you
noise.
good.
Y'all hear that?
Yes,
Oh,
we're
did you
good.
not hear that loud noise? Did you hear the loud noise? Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry, I hear it. Dang this. Shout out to Discord for the suppressing. I love it. Or also shout out to hold on, where's the company? Audio Technica or Technica. I have their headphones for podcasting. Shout out to them too. These headphones are fire. But I finally get to use them. Those podcast ones I told you about. Um, but I mean, even in the draft lottery was interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was also shocked about the whole, Rockets going 4 and then like Wembanyama being like, oh, what, you know. So I mean, I think it's a good little thing. I mean, I kind of already thought the Spurs were gonna get him. I mean, the Spurs weren't even that good. Obviously weren't good this year. They have a pretty good team that Victor Wembanyama goes to. Great coach. So I think that's a good fit for him. I think that was the best fit. I know Houston Rockets. I mean, he goes there. A possibility he plays with James Harden if he goes back down there. But I mean,
yeah.
that young team. I mean, is Jalen Green going to settle to be a second option to to Victor Wembanyama when he's kind of like the guy there already? But yeah, I mean, we might see some crazy stuff. The Spurs may be like, you know what, we don't want Victor Wembanyama, but I think they have their eyes on Victor Wembanyama, so I think that's perfectly
You think they'll
fine.
go Miller?
But hey, I do like that second pick for the Hornets because they
I
could finally
think
get
I
another
think
wing
Miller
player that
fits
can
them better,
complement
but I do
LaMelo,
think
and I
Scoot's
do
the
like
better
that Brandon
prospect.
Miller pick
Obi, I
from
don't know what they're gonna do.
Alabama.
I'll have to look more into it, but I think
I think
Scoot's gonna be a
so.
really
It's
good
the
pro.
best. It's the best second bet. Scoot Henderson, yeah. I mean, he's been in the G League for 2 years. He's been killing it
You
down
think
there.
so?
So I think he'll be good. But I'm not gonna lie. It's best fit for
Yeah,
that
but
number
yeah,
3 pick if someone leaves that team.
but him and Simons.
I
Yeah, but
really
him and
think that's a
Simons as the
perfect that's a
backcourt, which would
perfect
be
thing for
interesting. But
Scoot
what
if
if?
he goes to
But what
Portland
if Dame doesn't leave
because
now?
Damian Lillard leaves. Damian Lillard leaves. He could take that team.
Yeah.
But that's like
What?
another. Just think about that. Him and
Well, it
Simons.
could be,
Look at
but
this.
what
You
if?
you
What
guys
if?
are building. They're
What if
building like the
Dame,
duo guard.
doesn't
That's
leave
like
and he
that
has
could
to play
be him
behind
and
Simons
C.J.
and
McCollum,
Dame,
Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. That
maybe
could
they
be.
go
That could
really
be it.
small ball.
Yeah, yeah, they do. So it's like, would he come off the
That's true.
bench then? You think?
Yeah. No. But don't they
That's
start
true.
Damian
Yeah,
Lillard and
that's not
Simons
bad.
at the same time? They have that two guard. I mean,
Cam Reddish, maybe.
he comes off the bench with Shaden Sharp in them. That's not a bad bench. Scoot and Shaden Sharp coming off the bench. I mean, that's also another thing for their future too. That's another like little wing guy. So just think, let's say Damian Lillard, that's Simons, Scoot, and Sharp, and then Nurkic down low. The not. It's a very young core, and it's probably not going to work out in the first year, obviously, especially with Scoot being there. But I'm not
Yeah,
going to lie, I could
exactly.
kind of see that happening and Scoot having good experience rather than these college guys because, like I said, Scoot's been in the league really for 2 years, but he's been in the G League.
Something like that. Yeah.
So really, he kind of knows about the business. He knows how players are going to be, and he's still young, still at what 20, right? He's only 20 still. So I mean, I think it's the best
Very
fit
much
because if
so.
Damian Lillard leaves, I mean, even if he doesn't leave, he's a he's a sixth, seventh man off a bench, off a team that could still be good and make playoffs. They have a
Yeah.
team. They have a team. It's just weird how they didn't perform well and everything. But I mean, I think everyone is pointing sides. Damian Lillard is kind of out the door
Yeah, that's
on
because I
Portland,
think
but
Scoot. There's talk
we'll
about it.
see.
So
I don't think it's a
outside of
bad
like
position because
Wembanyama, like wasn't
are
in this
you
draft, and
talking
he'd be like the
more
hands
that
down
Scoot
number one
comes in and
pick,
he's
like in any other
automatically the
draft, like
guy?
not any other
Is
draft
what
that have
you
been
mean
in
for
recent
Scoot?
years. So I can't see a place where Scoot. I don't see Scoot falling, but if Charlotte goes, I think if Charlotte
Oh,
goes
100%.
Brandon Miller, I do think that a team will trade up in Portland because I don't know if Portland's committed to Dame, I think they'll trade. But also along with that, I think if Charlotte takes Scoot, they're going to move on from Rozier, which obviously makes sense. But I do think the draft starts at number 2, like when we're really going to get things are going to get interesting, and I think it's going to be Scoot. I do think Scoot's going to go 2, but if they do take Brandon Miller, I definitely expect some team to trade up for number 3, and that's going to be a big haul if Scoot Henderson falls number 3.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, also, I mean, you do have the Thompsons twins. I mean, you got Amen Thompson, who's standing at 6'7". He's a guard, pretty good. Played at overtime elite. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a nice little build around with guys like
no
Jalen
doubt.
Green, Sengun, and Jabari Smith. Brings it a little bit more of a. It brings size. They'll definitely have size for sure if they get Amen Thompson. But I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, 5 with Detroit. They're. I'm looking at a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mock
He's
draft
nice.
right now, trying to just see how people are breaking up. But it says they can get can I say his name? Trace Walker from Houston, 19-year-old, pretty
Yeah,
solid guy, power forward, can shoot the 3 ball. That adds a little bit more versatility to that team. Um, I mean, they get a good power forward. They can move Bojan to the 3
I better. I
and
gotta
not
feel
have him
bad
as a
for Detroit
4,
though.
and then him and
They were the worst
Duran
team in the
down
league.
low, banging it down
17
low.
wins,
I
worst
like
team in
that.
the
Or
league, and fall
Wiseman,
out of the top 4.
not bad. Not a little bad little
Like
pick.
obviously, things not getting
I
Wembanyama, but
like
falling to number 5 is crazy.
why. Oh, they and got 5. Yeah, draft lottery, man.
They got 6 and 11.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Dude,
true.
that's
That's true.
crazy though.
I agree.
Like the
I
young
like
cores that
the
Orlando
Magic,
has
man. Still top
already, and they're
10,
gonna
baby. I
add
love
2
it.
top picks.
I love it.
Maybe they trade
They got
number
6
11
and
and get like a
11. They can
maybe
get
more of
they
like
can
a
get the other
veteran type
Thompson
play. I don't
twin.
know, maybe not. But like that rebuild, I was really hoping Orlando won that
They're
draft.
gonna
Like
add
that would
2
have been
top.
crazy if they had if you add
Maybe.
Wembanyama to that crew. But Orlando, like their future, they're gonna be scary. Bro, with Bol with Paulo,
Oh my
Markel
gosh!
Fultz.
If the Magic got Victor Wembanyama, I'm playing with them on 2K for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Paolo, dude, they can have the all 6,
that's
8, and up
crazy.
team like lineup. They put Franz Wagner, Jonathan Isaac, Paolo, Bol, and Victor Wembanyama. Oh my! Nobody like
That's
after literally
crazy.
after
Oh my.
not even Jonathan Isaac because Jonathan Isaac is like 6'10". So it's like after Franz Wagner, everyone's 6'10" and above. That's ridiculous. If they were to get Victor Wembanyama, but I mean, they can get another good they get a wing
Yeah.
player or another. Well, they got rid of Mo Bamba, so to be honest, they could get a big man if they want. I don't know if there's a lot of good big men to draft from this draft, but like especially from like Victor Wembanyama, because I think a lot of other than I mean they could get like an undersized big that is very versatile that could work out for them. Because I mean,
Gonna work out,
obviously
yeah.
they can't get someone that's going to clog the paint with Paulo there. They can't really they need somebody versatile, and I think if they bring another wing, definitely no guards, no more guards. I don't know. They need a wing player. They need a wing player or another guy that can be down low, that can get rebounds and shoot the ball. No more guards. You're fine. You're fine. You have opportunity to trade one of these guys. Do not pick up another
Yeah.
guard. I know they're looking at a Thompson guy, which he is a guard, but he's more of a wing player, and I'm fine with that because they're big. I
Shore
mean,
or
even
something?
Amen is 6'7". I believe his brother's like 6'7",
I could be
6'8",
wrong.
I think. So maybe pushing 6'9". So I think they get him. I think how do you say his name? Ashore. Is that Ashore? Okay,
Yeah.
Ashore Thompson. Yeah, he goes to Orlando Magic, another wing guy. I think that's what they need. No more guards, no more point guards, no more. No, they're good. They're good. They're fine with that. I wasn't really mad. It was surprising about the draft lottery. I wasn't too mad. I've kind of ever since they've been talking about this whole percentages and the ball and everything and fixing it.
Me
To
too,
be
man.
honest, I wasn't shocked about. I know the Pistons should have had. Obviously, they did have the highest probability in the thing, but I'm horrible at math. I'm horrible at math. I don't. I sometimes
Yeah.
don't even
Mhm.
respect math at times because I just know I'm not that smart. But when they talk about probabilities, I'm like, this stuff could go crazy, and it does, and it did. Magic get 6-11. Pistons drop down to 5-6. I'm not surprised. I'm
Yeah,
surprised on
exactly.
the fact that it's dang, they I feel like they deserve a top 3 pick because obviously they were the worst. But I mean, equal opportunity for
Yeah,
everyone, I
definitely think
guess.
so. NBA, it's crazy these
Equal
seasons.
opportunity for everybody. Everybody gets a chance to get that number 1 pick. Everyone gets a chance to get Victor Wembanyama. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then the
I
off-season
like
free
it.
agency. Yeah, make
Yeah,
sure
it's
you all
NBA,
tune in.
man.
We got some draft
Playoffs start,
coverage coming
craziness
up. We're gonna
starts,
go get you
draft lottery, draft
some
stuff
fishy,
starts.
some good, not
It's
fishy,
always when
something
playoffs and draft starts
special.
coming
You know what I'm
around
saying?
and the
So it's
off
gonna be
season.
lit.
That's where the NBA's. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. No, 100%, man. I can't wait for more of our content to come out and everything. I know we want to get this draft stuff,
Yes, we do. Yes, we
and
do.
award stuff, but we're switching up the awards. I'm gonna keep that as a coming soon. I don't want to explain too much because I want it to kind of be a little special thing. But Brian and I have an idea,
I
good
got.
idea for something for awards. But before we finish up, man, uh,
Yeah.
predictions,
Um.
man. Conference finals. What do you got, man? What do you got? What do you got? Let's actually let's do a little reaction. Game ones have been
Yeah, man. I
finished.
mean, it's they both
The
series are gonna be very
Nuggets do a
fun.
nice little butt whooping of the Lakers at home,
Obviously the Knicks are out of it, so
and
I'm just
the
hoping for
Heat
some fun, close
take
games to
game one
watch.
in
But
Boston, baby.
on the Western side, I'll start with real quick, and then I'll let you know talk about your Heat.
Hmm.
But uh, Jokic put on a crazy show. Anthony Davis, supposed to be this insane defender,
Yep.
cannot guard him. Nobody can guard. It's not even Anthony Davis' fault. Just nobody can guard the guy. But playoff Jamal Murray
Mhm.
does not get enough credit. And obviously Mike Malone at the helm, but they got guys like Michael Porter. I said it earlier. Just the entire play just elevates with Jokic. And what I saw in Game One was yes, the Nuggets almost blew that big lead, and LeBron was pretty much non-existent to that fourth quarter. So I don't like to overreact about Game One because there's so many series where Game One does the worst team wins and then the series just ends completely different. But to give you a prediction, Mike, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with my predictions. I do have I have the Nuggets in 6, and then I also have unfortunately, Mike, I do have the Celtics in 6. I could see that game going 7, that series going 7, but I just think Boston with if Jason Tatum can just figure himself out and limit the silly turnovers in the fourth quarter. Like he had 0 shots in the fourth quarter yesterday, which is crazy. Your best player or second best player, whatever you want to say, has 0 shots in the fourth. But I think Boston's going to turn it around and take the series, unfortunately. But if the Heat are going to shoot like they did and just kind of out hustle and take those charges, I could very much well see the Heat winning. But I do think it's the Nuggets to lose. I think they got the pieces to win a championship. So, that being said, Mike, my prediction is Nuggets in 6, Celtics in 6, possibly 7, but I'll stick with what I said before the series started. Um, but yeah, just fun basketball is what I'm trying to look for, man. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're probably nervous every night because of the Heat, but Mike, let me hear, like, what are your picks? Like, what are we feeling? What's your reaction to game ones? Like, where's your head at?
So I'll talk West. Um, the masterpiece this man puts on every night. It's a man I've been praising ever since we started this thing. It's it's man, I love the talks that they're having, how dominant he is, like offensively, and just what he does at every level of the floor on the offensive side is absolutely ridiculous. Nikolai Jokic is the best player in the world, and I would argue he's been the best player in the world for the last 3 years. Nikolai Jokic is like he's getting brought up to the point of how dominant he is to Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant man of all time in the NBA. And that's just based off physicality and what he did. Now we look at Nikolai Jokic, we think gummy bear. We see all these pictures of him when he was younger, and he's a big old kid, fun-loving looking kid. Back when Serbia, right? From Serbia? Yeah, right? Croatia. Serbia? Croatia. Serbia. Well, what's Nikolai Jokic, bro? I think he's let me think. Nikolai Jokic, I believe, is Serbian. Hold on. Let me fact check this so I don't sound like a crazy maniac. But Nikolai Jokic is Serbian, great guy. Like we see all these things. This man covers every part of the floor. The Nuggets offensive game is absolutely amazing. I've talked about this with the Heat as well with Bam, but
Yeah.
that whole high post catch, top of the key, setting those high screen and rolls, and with Jokic, it's almost like you can do a give and go
Oh
off
yeah.
of a pick and roll. Like you do a pick and roll with him, give it back, he gets it, he throws it right back to you. Like Nikolai Jokic is probably one of the best players I've seen in the NBA in a minute as a center, and as a center because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how what he does on the floor and how dominant he is. Because then you look at this guy, and you think,
Yeah.
oh, he's just
100%.
offensive game and stuff like that. But no, my man is smart. His IQ is I would almost say not above it, but is the same tier as LeBron IQ. Like he knows when to match up with the right guy. All right, I know this guy's probably faster than me. Let me back up. Let me not have them beat me off this. Like he's smart. He knows who to match up with. And then on the offensive end, you can't guard him. You can't even guard his teammates because he's gonna find the perfect spot for them. He's gonna put it in the breadbasket for them. Like he he just watching him play, he's like a mixture on the offensive end of like Hakeem Olajuwon with like being able to just kill you in the post and
Yeah.
have so many post moves like Hakeem Olajuwon, but then he
Yeah.
has a mixture
Um,
of like
Mike, I actually have a question for you.
who's
I
a
was
good
thinking about this
like
the other day.
passing like big man like
I'm
Paul
sorry, I don't want to get ahead of
Gasol,
myself. There's a lot of basketball left to be
like
played and whatnot.
Domantas
But if Jokic
Sabonis' dad,
adds a
Adrius
championship, and
Sabonis back when he
I
was on,
assume a Finals
he was
MVP, unless
that
if Jamal
guy.
Murray, takes or whatever. But like, where does
Mhm.
that rank him? Like all time, like he'll have 2 MVPs, a final, a
Mm.
championship, and like, where will that rank him? It's early. He's only 27, maybe 20, something like that. But like,
Got
he
two
could very, I could
MVPs.
100% see him retiring as a top 10 player of all time.
Mm. Oh yeah,
Nah,
100%. Like he's a not even like you say generational, but like I even think that's an understatement for him. We have never seen a big man like this before. Never.
yeah.
Like maybe in like short sense, nobody's like this. Like It's crazy, and I love it. I like players like this that could do everything. Because what's crazy is like I was getting to, like he's a big body. He knows when his match is on defense, but on the rebounding side, you would think he'd get like, oh, he's probably getting reached over. He doesn't look like he's getting effort. This dude is getting 20 boards a game.
Yeah.
He's had a 20-20 game before. He's had almost a 25 rebound game before. This guy, like, what? You wouldn't think that of Nikolai Jokic. You look at Nikolai Jokic, you're like, oh, he's not grabbing almost 30 boards in a game. He's not, but he does. And it's amazing because then it's like, he is so versatile. Like, it's so crazy how versatile. He could get the rebound
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
either
It's
take
crazy.
it
It's
up
crazy.
or he's throwing it down the court on point football, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers type stuff on the dot to whoever's down the court. Like, you have that option, and I've said this. This is why it separates. He separates himself from him and a lot of players. You look at wing and guards, you see that, and you're like, there's a lot of that in this league. We've talked about this
Yeah.
before. You could probably name 2 or 3 big men that are like dominant like that, and it's maybe just Joel Embiid, Jokic, and maybe I've said this, maybe Bam, or you might throw in Karl Anthony Towns. That's it. It dwindles from there. That's why Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic, that's why they separate themselves from everybody else because they don't do this. But then Joel Embiid has his guard wing antics where he wants to act like them and not play the game. So sorry about my guards and my wings, but Nikola Jokic over here is playing like he's a role player with his minutes, playing until he drops. And he's doing it with triple doubles. He's doing it with double
100%,
doubles
yeah.
with maybe 25 points and like
Yeah,
20
exactly.
rebounds. Like, this dude could give you maybe 20 assists and 20 rebounds in a game and score 15 points. Nikola Jokic is capable of doing that. Like, I love watching this podcast, and I know I'm just talking about Jokic because I could talk about everybody else on that team, like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Tavius Caldwell Pope. Shout out to Lethal Shooter, who he trains with, because he's having the best shooting of his career this season, even in the playoffs. You have Bruce Brown, who I absolutely love. I love guys like Bruce Brown, Gary Payton. Bruce Brown is amazing. I love Bruce Brown. I love Christian Braun, Jeff Green. I know this team because I've been going crazy about this team for so long because of Jokic and everything, and it's amazing. There's this stat line that is just it's so simple, but it's crazy. But it's like Jokic. This is what's crazy. This is what you have to deal with. This is an automatic 100%. It's going to happen. It doesn't. It's not that it's not going to happen.
His first
every game, every series, anytime you play Jokic, it's an automatic 10-10-10.
The second quarter.
Imagine that.
What are we doing out here? Like,
no matter what you do,
Anthony Davis is
automatic 10-10-10.
Yes. I'm not even sure if it's Anthony Davis' fault, but like that buzzer beater you had at the end of the third quarter, like you can't guard that. But like the one thing that I love watching him play, obviously, but like the way he runs just cracks me up. I don't know why, but then the way he just just the way he moves, it obviously works. Like I'm not
back.
Judge,
Oh my
but it's just
Lord.
funny. But like, dude, Jamal Murray is, yeah. I know we talk about playoff Jimmy, which rightfully so, but playoff Murray, bro, like needs to be talked about more. He is I think he's one of the top point guards in the league when he's healthy.
It looks like he's barely trying. It's so awesome. He was
different. Like, there's only a handful of point guards come playoff time, really, that I would take over Jamal Murray. Like, obviously your Currys, like all those guys. But like Jamal Murray is the perfect second fiddle guy for Jokic because he lets Jokic run the show. He also takes it when it's his turn to take the show as well. But if Jokic is having an off game, give the ball to Murray and he'll get you a buck. And I think it was in the Phoenix series. It might have been in the Timberwolves series. I forget, but there was one game where Murray was like 2 for 14, like going into the fourth or something like that, and fourth quarter starts, and this guy just turns it up. And I was like, he didn't really do much in the first half, but the first half of the fourth quarter. But when it got to crunch time, he hit some ridiculous shots. So it's like kind of like Tatum did against Philly in Game 6. Like the key when I know players an all time is really like a great player and has that like edge to him is when like they're struggling all game, but when their team needs them most, they show up, and that's what Jamal Murray does. He's not going to get enough credit 'cause he's playing with Jokic, and obviously Jokic rightfully so deserves that attention. But Jamal Murray is a huge piece to that offense, to that team, and that team's not winning a championship this year if Jamal Murray's not doing Jamal Murray things. Yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough. I agree. I like Jamal Murray. I do put him in that category as like those playoff performers that obviously take that next step when they do. Like when they get into playoffs like Jimmy and everything. So I really enjoy it. I like watching Jamal Murray. I mean, that's another thing that I love. But I
yeah,
mean, I would even argue I like Jamal Murray and then, but I'm gonna throw my guy out there, man. You could even give it to him in the helm, but my guy, Aaron Gordon, having a career season for himself. He can take the ball too, and he's solid. He be taking the ball sometimes, posting up, taking fadeaway shots that he's trying to make a patent.
yeah,
I like his little fadeaway post shot that he does, man, and I like Aaron Gordon. I obviously have that Orlando connection and everything and Magic, and I wanted him to stay with the Magic because I knew he had that potential, Aaron Gordon,
yeah.
and
It's
now I'm
crazy.
seeing it with the Nuggets, and I'm very proud of him, and I love it. But I'm not
Hey,
gonna
yeah,
lie,
I know,
this
I
team
know
is
what you told
perfectly
Mike.
built. This is
You might
why
as
I'm
well say
like
it.
I won't be
I
surprised
don't think
if
it's ridiculous to
and
say,
I
Mike.
said some crazy
Because
stuff. I'm not gonna say it here, but I did say some
all
crazy
right, that's
stuff
fair.
about the Nuggets in the
That's fair.
series, but I'm not gonna say it here. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna see how game two goes, and then I'll think about saying it. I'm not gonna say it. Not gonna
Yeah,
say it. But I will say
yeah.
this: Nuggets are for sure my finals. Like are for
Wow. I
sure.
mean, yeah, I
I don't know
agree.
how it
I mean,
goes.
for me too, that's my pick.
I don't want to say how it goes, but I want to say if I would put a bet right now on the Nuggets winning the NBA Finals, I'm putting that bet down. And I know that's
Yeah,
early because that may sound like I'm talking into existence. I'm maybe people are gonna. I know some of my people are gonna be like, "Are you sure you're not doing some reverse strategy, reverse psychology, so LeBron can win another ring?" Not like that, because
yeah,
because to be honest, when I think about the Lakers going to the finals, you know what I would want really is if the Heat make the finals and we beat the Lakers in the finals for that revenge in the bubble. Now that I would love, and that's the
yeah,
story that I'm kind of hoping maybe happens. But it's really, 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 really,
yeah,
really, really,
yeah.
really
It's
hard
crazy.
when you have Nikolai Jokic on your team. Because I am not gonna lie to you, the same presence that
Yeah,
LeBron has, Nikolai Jokic is doing that. And I'm not gonna lie to
yeah,
you,
and that's why like I
we've
didn't
seen that
understand the
since
part of like
maybe
not I saw it
the
on social
bubble.
media. I've talked to people, but like
Yeah,
people are always
ever since the
questioning Jokic
bubble,
in the
he's
playoffs,
made it.
but
Nikolai
like
Jokic has made it this far plenty of
I didn't
times.
understand it because yeah, he hasn't won a championship yet, but like he's done more. He's usually shown up for his team. You know, like it's not like he's showed up in Game 7 and given you 13 points, shooting under 50% from the field, like like some other people in this league who after they get an MVP. But like Jokic shows up.
Yeah, no, Jokic just show up. Jokic shows up no matter what. Like that's another thing. Like he could, like it's funny. Like I've seen a maybe I'm putting my
Yeah,
fingers up and saying in quotation, but quotes. I've seen him have a bad game, but it was still like a double double or maybe close to like a double double triple double, and it's like maybe like 15, 9, and like 5
despicable. MVP,
or something like that. But like
awful,
that's still so
awful.
much more productive than like Joel Embiid maybe grabbing like 8 rebounds. Or no, Joel Embiid scoring 15 points in a closeout game. There you go. There you go. I know I keep bringing that up, but that just makes me mad because I expected so much better for him, and I was actually going for the Sixers in that series, so that's why I keep bringing that up. People don't think I'm just genuinely mad at Joel Embiid. I love Joel Embiid. I think he's a great player, and I almost kind of side with Patrick Beverley when he said dominant big man like that, but I would rather put Nikola Jokic in that conversation rather than Joel Embiid right now. But I see what Patrick Beverley was saying because we haven't seen the scoring clip, is what I think Patrick Beverley was talking about.
Yeah.
Because Jokic will score like 20 and 30 consistently, but he'll have his double, triple doubles. Joel Embiid is like, I'm dropping 40, 50 anytime I can kind of get when he wants that, when he wants to do that,
He
which is
won
pretty
everybody.
dominant. So, but yeah, Jokic brings you on every end, man. Oh my lord,
you have
like the effort, it drives me nuts because I'm just like, you have so much effort. I would love to have you on the Heat, man. We would love to have you. We'd love to have you, man. We want everybody that'll show effort. Like to be honest, we will take everybody because either the people
You
with
have Nikola
effort
Jovic though.
are gonna thrive in our are gonna thrive. Either the people with effort are gonna thrive in our strategy in our franchise, or the people that don't have any effort are gonna learn effort. So yeah, we already got a Jovic. We got Nikolai Jovic. He's solid, but he's in development. We don't remember when we draft guys unless they're like
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade. I mean, even then, I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
We sometimes don't play rookies like that.
No, exactly.
That's the thing about the Heat. I don't like it because I want our rookies to thrive, and we've had good draft picks in the past that I want them to thrive and I want them to like play, but I can't question the best coach. I'm not going to question the best coach. I'm not going to question the best coach, and I'm not going to question probably one of the best developmental teams in the league when it comes to like G League. I will talk more G League, more NBA developmental. We're probably the best because I would say developmental or like young guys. I probably would give that to the Thunder because they know like scouting wise, like with college and everything. But I will say when it comes to like G League and undrafted guys are like guys that go under the radar, we're the best at getting those guys. We're the best. So.
Oh no, it's at 12. We're good. We're good.
Will your laptop die? What's it on? What's it on? What we got? So, but other than that, I mean, with the Nuggets, man, my best logical point, even though my one crazy take I said, I'm not gonna say after game
Nuggets
2.
over Boston. In 7.
I say finals predictions.
That's my pick.
Oh, it's hard because we took game 1, man. We took game 1.
You can always pick your team, bro.
Oh. No, you know what? I'm gonna do what Stephen A. Smith did. My logical
you think the Celtics win in 7?
Is Celtics will win in 7. Unfortunately, logical Celtics win in 7. Okay. On the Western side, Nuggets win in 6. Logical. Okay. Lakers come back. They maybe win both their games because if you think about it, they're both undefeated at home. They both are. Nuggets are undefeated at home, and the Lakers are undefeated at home in the playoffs. So really,
so you're saying
it could go to the point where it's 2-2. I could also say Nuggets in 7 as well. I actually, when I think about it, I'll switch up. Nuggets in 7, Celtics in 7. Okay. They meet in the finals. Nuggets, Celtics. Nuggets in 7 against the Lakers. I say that logically, like the best because they're both really good at home, and I think they'll split that series 2-2 after they go back to LA. I think, but
yeah,
if that Nuggets Celtics make it in the finals 100%, like I'm not gonna say 100%. This is my logical. This is me, my mind trying to think without having my heart in it or anything else. But I will say Nuggets and Celtics in the finals.
This guy's really high on the Nuggets.
I'll give you a crazy take here.
I like it.
Nuggets in 5 in the finals.
Yeah.
Very high on the Nuggets. I will say Nuggets in 5 in the finals. Nuggets win it. Finals MVP Nikola Jokic. There you go. Now, for my hopeful, for my heart now. Heat in 6.
Yeah.
Heat in 6. Nuggets in
Nuggets beat you in
6.
5.
Nuggets Heat
I like it.
in the finals. And Nuggets beat us in 5 as well. Mm-hmm. We go to the finals again against the Nuggets. Now, story
7. Wow.
speaking, though, if the Lakers somehow pull it out, now this is more if. If the Lakers pull it out and we win our series,
That would
I'm
be,
going to say Heat in 7. Heat in 7 against the Lakers in the finals. I don't care. I want that revenge story so bad. I want that story.
Yeah.
That is one thing I'm
Very much
dreaming
so,
about
man.
right now. Heat play the Lakers because then it's everything. It's more than just the fact us revenge for the bubble. It's literally we beat LeBron. We like it's everything. Oh, it's everything. There's so many stories. The AC won an NBA Finals. AC made it to the finals. We beat LeBron. We get revenge for the bubble finals. Like
Hey, I'll come with you, bro.
there you go. That's what I'm dreaming. That is right now like the dream. Like I will probably go to Miami and go to the parade
I'll pull
type
up.
stuff. That happens. If that happens, 100%, I'm calling it on here. I am going to find a way to go to Miami and go to the parade. 100%. And I'm buying myself a Jimmy Butler jersey. No. Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
I'm with it,
I
man.
want to really get
I
a
was
Gabe
gonna get a
Vincent
Brunson
jersey because I
jersey if the
love Gabe
Knicks
Vincent
made it
because
to
I
the
got to stick
finals,
with my
but I'll have to
guards,
wait another year.
stuff like that. But Gabe Vincent for sure,
Yes, sir.
got to get him. But Jimmy Butler for sure, 100%. Jimmy Butler jersey. No, yeah, Jimmy Butler. I already got my Heat jerseys. I got all my I like my little gems. I got Goran Dragic. I got Hassan Whiteside. I got the limited edition Black History Month LeBron jersey. I got Dwayne Wade's jersey.
That'd be tough
Yeah,
too.
no, next is Jimmy Butler. Maybe obviously 100% Gabe Vincent and Bam for sure. Might have to get a Caleb Martin jersey. That'd be tough. Caleb Martin would be tough. But yeah, those are
I'm
my
with it.
predictions. I know I gave several predictions, but my head on straight thinking right. Nuggets, Celtics meet in the finals. Nuggets win the
Yeah, I'm with
finals.
it, man.
That's like my head on straight. It was head on straight, thinking logically, but the dream scenario is Heat Lakers, Heat win. That's the dream. That's the dream. Is it gonna happen? I hope so. I'm
I'm
dreaming
with
it.
it. I'm
Sometimes
hoping for
dreams
your
do
sake.
come true, but it's okay if it doesn't. Because to be honest, I am actually at this point satisfied.
That's true.
I think I've been satisfied really
Very
since
much.
the first round.
Very much.
So,
Very much so, man. Hey, man. It's good.
but yeah, but I'm not satisfied because we made it this far, and I'm like, you know what? If there's a chance we keep going, I'm not satisfied because, like I said before,
I
unfinished
believe it's
business.
tonight.
We still have unfinished business. So,
Yeah, no, it's tonight.
it is gonna be lit, but oh, is it game 2 tonight, Lakers, or no? Is it the day? Oh, or is it? Is it tonight? I
Master
thought they started
show.
doing like days off and stuff. I thought they started. Is it tonight? Oh, okay. Well, I work tonight, unfortunately, so I'll have to watch it at work. But I hope another Jokic
Mike, call me crazy. Murray's gonna
masterpiece,
outscore Jokic tonight.
Another Jokic masterpiece. Go up 40.
Murray's
Give
gonna
me like
go
40, Jokic. Give me
outscore
40.
Jokic tonight.
Give me like 12 to 15 rebounds
You
and
heard me?
like
He's going for over 30 tonight.
What'd you just say? What did you just say? How dare? I'm just kidding. Jamal Murray scoring. Okay, if that's the case, he's going
Yeah.
for over 30. Okay, you know what? Okay. You okay? You
The
put
Nuggets
that in.
winning.
I'm gonna put in 100%. If
Yeah, I
Jamal
got
Murray
Nuggets
scores
tonight.
more than Jokic, I'm going to 100% say Jokic gets a
Yeah.
triple double tonight. If Jamal Murray goes off, because then that just means he's getting his touches.
I think Nuggets take
And
care of business
Jokic,
on their home court. They don't really
yeah.
lose at home.
Are the Nuggets winning tonight? Now that is a great question.
I bet. Sounds like a plan.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Nuggets win tonight. I'm gonna say Nuggets win tonight, so I can maybe say my crazy thing on after game 2.
Yeah.
So other than that, yeah. Because other than that, yeah. I say Nuggets win tonight. Even though a lot of people are saying LeBron was making that one face after the game like he usually does, and then goes off
Yeah.
the next game.
Exactly.
That's fine. I get that. That always
Hey,
happens.
man.
It's LeBron James. I'm not hard. It's hard not to deny LeBron James, but then yet again, it's so funny that I say that because it also works
Yes, sir.
on the other side too as well. You can't stop Jokic, so try your best. And Jokic is younger. I'm sorry, LeBron. You're getting a little bit older, and it's not even that your age is stopping you because you're still dropping like 30 something points, but like it gets up there. I know you need to kind of slow down
Yeah,
a little
man.
bit. Jokic's a little bit younger. He doesn't have to slow down, but that man is just I would say just as intelligent or
Yes,
maybe even
sir.
more. We don't know
20
when it
in,
comes to the game
bro.
of basketball with LeBron and Jokic, but yeah,
That's crazy.
it it's
Yeah.
amazing. But another
Exactly, man.
episode 20, baby. Oh, 20 in, man. And when we're near the end of
Yeah.
this, like the end of it, we're near the end of it. We're near the end of it all.
Yeah.
The finals, man. We're in the conference finals right now, but that's
You
crazy.
might have
20
to.
episodes in, and we're in the conference finals.
Yeah. Well, Mike,
That's
I just
awesome.
want to say,
Is that
obviously,
what we're
I'm
gonna have to
happy that your
take? Is
team
that gonna be
won.
our seasons?
But
20
I
episodes.
wish you luck going forward.
20,
Look, I
20
know I picked
episodes
Boston,
each
but
season.
I'm rooting for
It's gonna
Miami.
cover the regular
I
season
can't say what I want to say about Boston because I'm trying to be
and
professional
playoffs in the
here.
finals.
But
That's awesome. Every
I'm pulling for Miami, man. Just know that. It hurts knowing my team could be playing, but they're not. So I'm pulling for Miami.
of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I understand. I understand. Trust me, I understand the hatred
I
towards the
appreciate that, Mike.
Boston area.
Yes,
I
sir.
think everyone has that little. They just win too much. They win
Yeah.
too much. You're done. Stop it. We don't like y'all. Y'all win too much. You're good. I'll say the good side of it.
No.
I'll say the appropriate side of it. They win too much. You're done. We'll say. I know you and I are thinking the bad things off this, obviously towards Boston, but not like ill mannered, not like disrespectful, but
Yeah.
obviously it's the typical things. But the appropriate way is y'all
Very
just
much
keep
so.
winning
Very much so.
y'all just have the history. We get it. Whatever. Give everybody else a chance. Stop it. We don't
Yes,
care
sir.
anymore. Give everybody else a chance, Boston. You guys have been winning for centuries now. You're good. You're good. But hey man, all I gotta say is unfinished business. Heat, baby,
Hey.
Miami Heat 305, baby. We winning. Um,
Hey, he's over 21 for everyone
yeah,
out there.
I'm
Don't
still
worry.
doing all my little what's it called? My rituals. Every time I go to the gym, locker
Yes, sir.
22 for Jimmy. Um, I took a
Yeah, Mike,
shot
Mike's
for
low
the
key,
Heat
low
last
key.
night. A red. I'm over 21. I'm over 21. 20. I did turn 23 last week.
Yeah.
Um, did turn 23 last week, but that was under the radar. But I'm very low key guy. I'm very behind the scenes. I don't really. If I was to become celebrity, you probably wouldn't even know I'm a celebrity at all because I'm in the shadows. But yeah. Other than that, I'm still doing all my rituals. I'm still wearing all my Heat gear on game day. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of my team. I'm satisfied. and I'm satisfied but unsatisfied because
sir.
obviously I want a chip. Jimmy Butler said we're getting a chip in the beginning of the season. I believe it. I 100% believe it, and I 100% am going with it. So, I do want to give a shout out to Dre. I love you, man. Dre, our wizard, our editor. Phil's my ID. I love you, man. But hey, we're at a crossroads too, my man, right now. Go Heat. I need Jason Tatum to play like at the end of the game like he did yesterday. Keep doing that. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I know you don't want to see that, Dre, but I hope, because then that just means my Heat win. But yeah, shout out to Dre, man. I wish the best for both sides, obviously. So good series, good whatever. I know, obviously, I want my Heat to win. You want your Celtics to win, Dre.
But like obviously,
but
I just want to say this before I
hey,
forget.
we got y'all game one. We got y'all.
Yeah, for everyone out there, make sure to follow our socials.
It's going to be a long series. We got our first punch in. We won round one. Now we got to win 3 more rounds. So
at Hoopin_MB on Twitter.
We got it.
Hoopin.MB on Instagram and TikTok. I know we haven't been as active on TikTok, but we're going to get that going a little bit. I just didn't want to forget to say that, but big things coming, and we got some more stuff coming. We're going to be dropping more content weekly, so stay tuned, and it's up from here.
Yeah. All it is up from here. We got a lot. We got conference finals to finish up, and then we got finals to get to, and even more. Like we said in the episode, this is like the prime time for NBA news. You have the off season, you have the draft, you have the finals. This is prime time for us, and we're gonna keep bringing content. We're gonna keep bringing things out. Obviously, there's still a lot of things going around in the league. And outside the league too as well. But yeah, please stay tuned, stay supporting. We love all the support we get. We love all the recognition we get, and all we want is just to keep growing, get bigger, be able to be accessible for anyone to hear, not just to anybody that just likes basketball, just anybody that's interested in the game of basketball or interested in guys that are in the league. And yeah, that's really about it. Other than that, man, great episode, great talk. Please support. Please follow on all platforms. Subscribe, and let us know any comments, anything anybody else wants to talk about. 100%, we're always down. We're in the summer. All we're probably doing. I know Brian's working. I know I'm working, but it's summer. We got time. We dedicate ourselves to this. We love this, and we just want more for each other, and we want more for this. So just keep supporting, keep in tune, and keep hooping.